Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. My name is D. Merry happy to anybody who celebrates. This is the holiday special. This year we're going to talk about Return of the Nutcracker Prince by Jasmine C. Caldwell. That's right, this Christmas we're going back to our roots and reviewing a romantasy. But before we get into all of that, I gotta give a quick shout out to my Plus Ultra Don't Fretters, my top tier supporters on Patreon, JJ Valdez and Peggy Luhu. Thank you both for your support. You're helping to ensure I'm able to keep creating content and put it out as frequently as possible. If you also want to help support the channel, gain access to my private Discord server filled with nerdy, creative, lovely weirdos, and get some bonus content, make sure you consider subscribing to my Patreon at patreon.com/thefretter. Or if you want to support the channel but you don't want another monthly subscription to manage, you could just buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/thefretter. All the money from like Ko-fi donations or like super thank yous here on YouTube go towards helping me get some video gear. The camera setup that I've been using for the last couple of years is actually my best friend's, and he needs this stuff back. So any little bit helps going towards that. I do have a camera body now. That's a big win to end out the year, but I still need a lens, and those things are expensive. And if you don't have any discretionary entertainment funds, that's all good. You can still help out this channel if you like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. This probably isn't the video to do this quick aside, especially since we know it's not going to be quick. But in the past, I posted a couple of videos talking about how I didn't really want to be a booktuber anymore, because my main shtick was just reviewing romantasy book talk books, and I was really not enjoying reading anymore. And as much as I enjoyed making content that people were laughing at and all that stuff, or putting them on to keep them company while they do chores around the house or do their art homework or whatever, that's all good. But I was just really not enjoying what I was reading, and I wasn't looking forward to it anymore. And I just felt like I was making the same jokes over and over and over again. So I wanted to move into making content about like creativity and writing and all that stuff. So I kind of overthought doing a book review for this holiday special, because it kind of felt like I was like going back on what I said or something like that, and I just definitely overthought it. But there are a few books that I want to talk about, books by authors that I really like, and there's some other books out there that I might be kind of curious about, some series that I want to end. So in 2026, I'm going to try to like make content that I want to make, talk about things that I want to talk about, but not put too many constraints on myself, like, oh, I can only talk about these things, or I can only talk about these things. You know, there's already enough constraints just being on the medium of social media, regardless of what platform we're talking about. So yeah, sometimes I'm probably going to talk about like being a creative entrepreneur or creativity. Sometimes I'll be talking about a piece of art that really moves me one way or the other. Or I might be talking about just like something going on in the world. I don't really know, but I'm just going to like give myself the freedom to make whatever I want to make. If that makes any sense. Inside of me, there are two wolves. And one is this sort of like soft-spoken, introverted, well-read writer type wolf, and the other is just like a silly, goofy guy, you know? So anyways, let's talk about this steamy historical romance fantasy book. I like Googled holiday romantasy or something like that, or Christmas romantasy. I found 3 that looked like not interesting, that people might be interested in me talking about. And then I put up a poll on Patreon so people could vote on what they wanted me to talk about. By the way, if you join the Patreon as a free member, you get access to my monthly newsletter, and that's where I put up polls for like what topics I'm going to talk about here on the main channel. Feels like it's been ages since I've done a book review, so I don't even fully remember how I used to structure these. Yeah, this book came out in November of 2023. I guess it's like an unofficial sequel to The Nutcracker, like the ballet. Now that we've done 2 different sort of retellings or pieces of work around the Nutcracker, I gotta get like weird next year. Like I gotta go into Wattpad or AO3 and find some Nutcracker fanfic. I guess this is kind of that, but whatever. Let me read this premise. What if the ballet was just the beginning? The Nutcracker Prince is on a mission to save the land of sweets from the power-hungry Mouse King. But when Prince Klaus turns to Clara, the mage from the realm of waking, he finds more than just a savior for his kingdom. He finds the girl from his past, all grown up. But she thinks that long ago battle was a dream. Clara has been promised to a man that she hates and can't see a way out. When she comes face to face with the boy from her dreams, her world turns upside down. He's all grown up now and he needs her help. She takes a leap of faith and joins Klaus in a daring adventure across the realms. As they battle the Mouse King and his army, Klaus and Clara rekindle their connection and discover a love that might save them all. My younger sister was in the ballet one time for like the Royal something 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 in Vancouver. I don't remember a thing about it. I know some of y'all will think that makes me like a bad older brother. Fair. So yeah, I used to do like a spoiler-free review, just kind of broke down the book into 4 different aspects, and then I did a spoiler-free review after that where I kind of broke down the plot a little bit more. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to break down the book into characters, world building, plot, and prose. Those probably aren't the terms that I used to use. I'm not going back and watching my own content to figure it out. It's too late. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve because my life is in shambles and I have no sense of planning. I'm also going to talk about a 5th section at the end, but we'll get to that. Okay, so characters. I think like a general critique I would have of this book is that it's way too short and the pacing is like breakneck. And this affects almost every aspect of the book. In the author's note, she talks about being inspired by Ida Awad's Protected, which is a Nutcracker retelling, as well as the ballet. So I guess this is actually Nutcracker fanfic. And before anybody like jumps down my throat about me talking about fanfic, I'm not talking about fanfic in that derogatory way some of the pretentious writers on this platform will. In a way, all writing or all fiction is fan fiction because you're inspired by something that came before you, whether you like it or not. Sorry. And there's like good fanfic, okay? I was just teaching for like the last couple of days, and there was a student who submitted like for her piece a JJK fanfic, and it was like better than actual JJK. You can check that off on your bingo card, Mo. But when I say that this book is kind of like Nutcracker fanfic, I feel like she just wanted it to exist because it's like really short and it just kind of breezes through the plot. So it feels like something that's just like, I just want this out there in the world. I just want to contribute to this IP, I guess. Because apparently this author's written like several books, like 15 books or something like that. So I don't think that this is her magnum opus by any means. You know, I think this is just something she wanted to do. But this book is too short for any real or meaningful character development. Like Clara, the main character, gains confidence and finds love, but like none of it feels earned and none of it feels like natural or organic or substantive. Any internal conflict that she feels, she doesn't really have to work through. It's just she's over it. And she doesn't face any external conflicts that she doesn't like deal with like that. Like magic, which is a spoiler. Sorry. And Klaus is even less of a character. He's kind of like a cardboard cutout rom-com character. I don't know what the archetype is called, like, but just kind of designed to be attractive and obsessed, but not in a scary way with the main character. Like a toxic dude bro YouTuber would say a simp, but I'm sure there's a more appropriate and nuanced term that I just don't know because I am not that smart. And honestly, I think that that's fine because, you know, Clara's such a bland character. She's like a blank screen for the reader or the author to project themselves onto. And this is just kind of meant to be something you'd read in an afternoon. And there are other characters, but they are kind of just names to guide the plot. Moving on to world building. I usually don't get into this aspect of world building. I usually focus more on like the magic system or the politics or like any anachronisms that I think affect the immersion of the fantasy world or something. I don't know. I don't remember, and I'm not going back and watching my own videos. I don't really care what I think about Fourth Court of Gothicana assisting the villain Light Lark. There's something about this book with like the setting that I kind of realized maybe like 80% of the way through the books that I had no idea what any place looked like at all. You know what I mean? Like I know that the sky was like purple or something. Like I know that the realm that the Nutcracker Prince comes from is more colorful and like candy grows on bushes or some shit. But that was kind of it. Like the whole book kind of suffers from white room syndrome. Barely even know where the characters are standing in relationship to each other. You know, like if we go from where Clara's like sleeping to the courtyard where she's having a romantic moment, no idea what the walk was like or anything like that. And again, this book is so short. If it was full of like vivid descriptions of settings, there'd be no room for anything else. But I don't even really know what the characters are supposed to look like. Like, I understand that Clara's kind of thicker because there's some fat-phobic jokes that are made, which made me a little uncomfortable. But she's like got blonde and brown hair, I know that. And then Klaus, he's got dark hair and blue eyes. But in some of the other books that I reviewed, like, you at least got this understanding of like height, build. The Shadow Boo had like an incredibly sharp jaw or something, and his lips were a hard line a lot, I believe. But yeah, like in the world building, I just like couldn't imagine much, or so much was left to the imagination, and I didn't bother because I wasn't that invested. While some books we have discussed on this channel are like overly descriptive, this is kind of the opposite issue. And like, you know, and the magic system, there is no system to the magic. It's just like, and then stuff happens. Like, this magic system is softer than overcooked lasagna noodles. The only sort of detail we get about the land of sweets and toys is that it's a matriarchal society, so women rule. Yeah, they do. So fucking stupid. I'm so tired. And all sugar plum fairies, their magic gets stronger after they lose their virginity and orgasm for the first time. Moving on to plot, this is an incredibly focused plot. There is a happy ending, and we're going to get there as fast as we possibly can. I know I say this all the time, but two of my favorite authors are V.E. Schwab and P.J. Clark, and there's a little bit more ebb and a little bit more flow in their plot lines. V.E. Schwab is notoriously a slow burn sort of author where like it's very boring in the beginning, and then it all kind of ramps up, and then it's over in the last like 50 pages, maybe 30. P.J. Clark, his pacing's a little bit more consistent, and it moves pretty quick. Like, some of his novellas move pretty quick, but it's still like more evenly paced. And his full-length novel, A Master of Jin, there's some leisurely downtime here and there as the main character's trying to solve the mystery of that book. This just feels like shit's happening because that's what's supposed to happen, and there's no time to breathe in between the events, and it doesn't feel like the events are happening because of each other. They're just happening because that's what needs to happen. And I don't know, it's moving so fast. I'm just like, I don't know, come on, tease me a little bit, you know, make me want it. Don't just like give it to me, you know, make me like build up a little tension, give me a little satisfaction, you know what I'm saying? Don't be gross. Moving on to Prose. Okay, in not the last video, but like the video before that where I was talking about Milo Winters' piece, High Disturbance, I said that High Disturbance was better written than Age of Scorpius, and someone called me a liar. A couple people called me a liar, and then somebody told me that I have no business teaching kids if I think that this is good writing, which goes into like another video I'm going to have to make about social media literacy at some point. When I talk about prose, generally, if I can understand what the writer is trying to communicate, because language is about communication, then I think it's at least fine. Case of Milo Winters' piece, High Disturbance, I was saying it was better written because I understood what he was trying to say, kind of. There's still obviously like room for interpretation, and it is pretty purple and poetic. By the way, I don't like that we say pretty purple prose because that's ruined the color purple for me. I used to love that color. While High Disturbance is like a little overly poetic and self-indulgent, but isn't all poetry. I understood what he was trying to say. Whereas with Age of Scorpius, I didn't. I was like, what? Huh? Like, if the writing stops me in my tracks, then I think it's not good. But if I can understand what you're saying, it's at least fine. And in the same way with my own students, like, it is really hard to fail a module that I'm teaching. Like, it's really hard. But it's also really hard to do extremely well. I like pretty poetic purple prose, but I need to still understand what you're saying. If it's so pretty and purple, I don't get what you mean. It's like overseas and chicken breast. So talking about the prose in Return of the Nutcracker Prince, it's fine. It's kind of bland. There isn't a lot of flavor, and it is kind of juvenile. I don't know if it, like, I'd probably give it like a B minus, maybe a B. And lastly, I want to talk about the steam or spice. Now, I thought that steam and spice were like synonymous when it came to books, but after reading this and this being like part of the tagline being, this is a steamy historical romance. I was like, okay, it's going to get crazy. And it just isn't. Like, I don't know if maybe there's a difference between steam and spice. And I don't know if maybe there's like a smut connoisseur or an erotica aficionado, a spice sommelier out there watching this video. Maybe you can explain the difference in the comments, because I'm scared to Google that one. But I was really expecting something almost more unhinged than A Court of Sugar and Spice by, I forget her name, but that book, Rebecca something. I forget her name. I remember I posted a YouTube video, and then a bunch of my book talk friends were like, oh yeah, she's been beefing with me in my comment sections. I was like, oh. But yeah, I was expecting something crazy, something spicy, something steamy, and this was about as spiced as about as spicy as Frank's Red Hot Sauce, you know what I'm saying? Like, not really at all. There's like one scene, and it's half a page, and I don't know, man, I was just, maybe I've been desensitized, but there was like, not a lot of steam. I've had, cups of tea that are more steamy. I've had dumplings that are more steamy. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we're moving on to the spoilery review. So this is where I break down what happens in the book and kind of give commentary or share the notes that I took along the way. This first thing didn't even end up being all that funny. But at first, again, I thought that this was going to be like even more unhinged than A Court of Sugar and Spice. So the book is dedicated to her dad, who taught her to believe in magic, which is like really sweet. And, shout out to all the dads out there that make their kids believe in things and who believe in their kids. That would have been cool. You know what I'm saying? But I thought this was smut. And I was like, what do you mean you dedicated smut to your dad? Are you okay? Do you need to talk to somebody? But this is not smut. This is not erotica. If this is erotic, it's not very erotic. Chapter 1, Clara thinks that the events of the Nutcracker was a dream. She defeated the Mouse King. This fool had 7 heads by throwing a slipper at it. I don't remember this, like if that's canonical or whatever. That's cool. Klaus the Nutcracker Prince convinces his uncle Drosselmeyer to bring him back to the human world where he'd be stuck as a nutcracker, but at least he'd get to see his true love. Clara's mom is mad at Clara because she's nice to the servants. Can't be doing that. Can't be nice to us commoners. That'll make us feel like people. There's a Christmas Eve party starting. Clara's parents promise her to her brother's best friend, Berengar, who used to bully Clara. Clara's freaking out, and her mom's like, hey, don't worry. The first time is painful, but after that, it gets better, which is not what she was freaking out about, but thanks for that, Mom. Drosselmeyer arrives and gives Clara Klaus in his nutcracker form. She's forced to dance with Berengar, and he's mad sexist. He says weird shit like, I can't wait to breed with you and whatnot. Party ends, and Clara realizes she's forgotten the Nutcracker, and she goes to get it, and he's transforming into a man. Chapter 3, Klaus is like, yo, what's up, boo? And Clara doesn't believe him because she thought it was all a dream. Mice attack, so they go through a portal to the Nutcracker's realm, and they are attacked again. They lose one of the horses Drosselmeyer left for them. Chapter 4, Clara probably has magic powers. Chapter 5, Clara thinks that she's dreaming, and they meet Klaus's parents, the Sugar Plum Fairy, because she rules the land of the sweets, and his dad, the Sugar Plum Consort. They're mad that Clara's here, but give her the guest wing of the Sugar Plum Castle. They think Clara can harness her magic and defeat the Mouse King once again. Clara goes to sleep. Clara wakes up and thinks she's still dreaming, which is big Inception vibes. I don't know, maybe. I never saw it. I didn't care. Back off. Fuck off. I don't give a shit about Leonardo DiCaprio. She meets a servant named Trixie and takes a bath. And then she's like, while she's taking the bath, she's like, yo, of course I like it here. Of course I feel at home in here. I dreamed it up, didn't I? And this bit's like kind of getting old. I don't know, like, I guess if I fall through a portal, which those aren't real, but if I did, landed in the snow and got shot at with like arrows and shit or something, I'd be like, maybe I'm not dreaming. Maybe I'm going crazy. I feel like if you were like, this is either a dream or I've lost my mind, then maybe I would buy into this bit a little bit more, because she's just like, wow, I slept within a dream while I'm asleep. This is crazy. I'm like, What are you talking about, bro? She moans and groans every time she eats something. And I forget what book that was, but there's a book that was like about a dude. She like falls in love with a dude with antlers or something. I might have to go through my own channel to figure out what. Nope. Lore of the Wilds. That's the one I was talking about. Apparently, fairies get sick if they don't eat enough sugar. And then there's a self-deprecating fat joke, which was weird. They sit underneath mistletoe, and Klaus is like, yo, hey, if we gonna smooch, I need to tell you a story. In chapter 7, Klaus tells Clara this like myth about mistletoe and why it means that anybody who kisses underneath the mistletoe is destined to be together. And then I have a note that says, low-key thought this was going to be steamier. Nobody has said cock yet. And it's been like 84 pages. The Sugar Plum Fairy tests Clara's magic by having Mother Gingerbread, you heard me, throw fire at her. Clara's like, damn, maybe I'm not dreaming. And then Clara puts up a force field. Chapter 8, the Mouse King is going to attack in 2 days. So Klaus is like, let's go attack them in 1 day. Because that's strategy, baby. And Clara figured out how to control her magic before lunch. Then I have a note here that says, who is she? Sung Jin Woo? JK, even Sung Jin Woo works harder than this. Clara goes to the kitchen and finds a lady mouse stealing food and just like lets her go. Chapter 9, Drosselmeyer is a fairy and he knew Clara's paternal grandmother, who was also a fairy and also a caster, which is the type of magic that Clara is. That's how Clara has magic powers, because she's part fairy. And like her dad didn't get magic or figure out that he's a fairy because magic is stronger in women than it is men. That's just girl magic right there. You know what I'm saying? Chapter 10, they are off to war. Other mages are mean girls because they're jealous of Clara's romance with Klaus. Gingerbread tells her that whoever he marries is the next Sugar Plum Fairy. That's why they all want him. It's not because he's good looking or over 6 feet or anything. I actually have no idea if that's true. He's not really described, so and he has no shadow magic, so why would you even, you know? Boring, whack, mid. After hearing this, Clara is like, if I become queen, will the other mages finally accept me? I'm like, bro, you've been here for 2 days. You've known these people for like 5 minutes. Maybe after lunch they would have chilled out because they were hangry. You don't know. Clara realizes that she's in love with Klaus, and their attempt at an ambush is ambushed. Chapter 11, they lose the fight and have to retreat. Back at the palace, it's revealed that if Klaus marries a mage, her powers grow exponentially, and he's like, cool, I'll marry Clara. You know, don't have to twist his arm, you know what I'm saying? Don't threaten him with a good time, okay? Oh, man, boy is ready to be wed. That's the most fantastical part of this. A man ready for marriage? Come on. That was terrible. No wonder nobody watches my stand-up sets. They meet in the courtyard and say, I love you, and Klaus proposes. It's been like 2 days. The wedding will be the next day. Klaus's dad pulls Klaus aside and explains that it is not the wedding ceremony that increases Clara's magic. It's Klaus's ability to please her, except Klaus has never even seen a naked woman. Virgin! Loser! I have a note here that's just all caps. Now we're talking. They do shots, and the Sugar Plum consort gives advice on how to please a woman off page. Chapter 13, they get married and Clara's like, oh, my magic should be getting stronger, and the queen's like, actually, your power surges after you consummate your marriage. Have fun with my son, by the way. They go to, I guess, the honeymoon suite, and Clara's like really nervous because of what her mom told her at the beginning of the book. Klaus is like, don't worry, my dad gave me books to study. You're all good, baby. Chapter 14, they fuck and the mice invade. Chapter 15, they get caught. Chapter 16, they get thrown in jail, but the mother mouse that Clara let go visits. Chapter 17, the mother mouse frees them. Clara kills the Mouse King. And chapter 18 to the end, they go back to the human world to tell Clara's parents about Klaus and that she's leaving and that she's getting married. And the epilogue, Clara's the new Sugar Plum Fairy Queen and she's pregnant. Riveting stuff, you know? All in all, this is like, I don't know, this is such a like McDouble sort of book, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's small, it's not really satisfying, it's not good, but I get why this would do in a pinch, I guess. Kind of. Like, I would think with something this short and so lacking in, like, plot, characters, and all that stuff, it would be like, I didn't even I didn't make a note about the sex scene, but it's pretty like soft core. You know what I'm saying? Like it's half a page. It doesn't really happen. And it's not a complaint because I don't really need that. I don't really read books like that unless it's for this and because I think Mo will find it funny. But like, I don't know. It just really wasn't hitting. Like we've covered some crazy stuff here on this channel, and I'm sure there's even crazier stuff where I probably seem vanilla to some of you smut readers. But I was just kind of expecting something. It wasn't really there. Anyways, I give this like 2 out of 5 stars. I get why somebody would probably give this like 3.5, 4. It's just not to my taste, and it's not really whatever the book is trying to accomplish. I couldn't even really tell, and I don't think it was successful. But again, it's just not for me. Also, I fell asleep trying to read the first chapter twice. So, if this is more to your taste, more your thing, then this might be a good, like, winter afternoon read in the void between Christmas and New Year's or whatever. That's the movie Wonka for me, but maybe this is your Wonka, And Klaus is Timothée Chalamet. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this movie. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to anybody who's watching this. I'm putting this out on Christmas Day. Hopefully this will help you kill some time in between like Christmas morning and Christmas dinner, or if you're not with anybody, this will help just like break up some of the silence or something like that. And if you need more holiday content, I also posted a stand-up set recently that's kind of, it's got a Christmas story in it. Fair warning, I'm also going to be posting more stand-up sets, so I know I lost like 20 subscribers because I posted that last one. But yeah, fair warning, I'm probably going to put out more sets in 2026. So if the idea of me like having a dream outside of being a YouTuber or putting out content that I care more about and is more like work that matters to me, if that like repulses you for whatever reason, you can just unsubscribe now, I guess. Please don't. Please subscribe to the channel. And like this video and hit that noti bell. And thank you to all the patrons. 2025 has been a really difficult year for me. We've talked about that a lot on Patreon. But again, like, thank you so much for sticking with me through a really dark time, really hard time for me mentally. And your support has been a real gift in the spirit of Christmas. Bye.